we know what we're going to do. We talk about it on the way, right? And then as soon as they come in, we go greet them at the door. We don't even sit down. We greet them at the door. Hey, good to see you guys. Now, if Tammy and I invite them, hey, good to see you, John, Sue, nice to see you. Give them a hug, say, man, I'm so excited to share this with you. You know how inflation's affecting everybody, right? And they'll say, yes, well, I'm going to show you how to stay in inflation immediately and make some money too. You're going to love this. Okay? Now, if I'm meeting somebody with somebody, and I'll have those folks meet me there early, and then as soon as they come to the door, is that them? Yes, okay. Come up and introduce me. We go up to the door, they introduce me. I go, hey, it's nice to meet you, John Sue. Hey, John Sue, what did Bill and Sally tell you about this? And who knows what's going to come out of John Sue's mouth? Right? They might have shown them extra stuff. And I'll say, well, you know how inflation affects everybody, right? Yeah? Well, we found a way to stay, found a way to stay ahead of inflation. I'm going to show you instantly how to work and make some money too. Let's grab a cup of coffee. And we go up to the counter. Here's what I do. Here's the time. This is why the top 5 books are so important. Tammy talked about some of them. Dig into those top 5 books. You want to become relatable to people. You want to get to the point where you can meet somebody. This wasn't my personality, trust me. It was like, I'm the throat puncher, okay? And I would say, okay, people like they'll smile or whatever. And so read those top 5 books, not just once. I'm not counting times, a lot. And so by the time I meet them and meet with them on the way, I'm saying, hey, look, if you're going to come spend money here at Starfish, I ask if they come there often, or if it's a Panera Bread or a Subway or a Dunkin', doesn't matter. And I'll say, you come here, and they'll say yes or no to that. I'll say, now, if you're going to spend money here and buy something, or if you're going to go and I'll point at, Target and Five Guys and Office Depot and Panda Express and Ulta and whatever's around me, if you were to buy something at these places, how would you currently pay? And they all say what? Credit card, debit card, tap and pay. I said, exactly. And I said, and there's always a card attached to it, right? Yes. I said, well, we found a way around that. We're going to put money back in our pocket and stay ahead of inflation. That's what I say. And I hand it to them, put it in their hands, and I'll hit my favorites. It'll be 15 or 20 stores that they'll see. They'll look down through and they'll see, AMC at 6% and Ace at 5% and whatever. And I'll say, well, this is for an interview. You're going to go to Buffalo and they're going to pay you 7%, whatever it is there. I said, so those numbers are saying you get back immediately. We'll keep you ahead of inflation. They go, wow. They're very intrigued. They're very excited. And I put it in the hands. I say, so type in STAR, Starbucks. How much are they going to pay me? 4%. I said, see that little calculator? We made it easy enough for a 2-year-old to do. Did I just make it simple for people? I put it in the hands. We place the order. I say, punch in, boom, boom, boom. Hit this. How much are we going to get back? I said, instantly, we just got paid back from something we were going to purchase anyways. Does that make sense? I go, oh my God. And their eyes are bugging out of their head. They're excited about it. So now, what's funny is open them up, folks. They're so excited because now they're opened up because they've seen it with there's no hidden agenda. It's like, it's there. And so then we go, and so we do that, and then we're done, we go, I said, look, I know you love this, but let's sit down, I know you've got some questions. And then we're going to sit down with them, and here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to pull out this, and you guys will love this. So I'm going to pull out this sheet here, okay? I'm going to pull this up here, pull this up, and I'm going to say, you probably know this, John Sue, but have you noticed that something's going on with the financial system where it's not as easy to get ahead and stay ahead and have the American dream like it is right now, is it? How many people know that they're already feeling the pain? Everyone's feeling some pain in some area. And I'll say, I don't know if you've seen this article out that's written in USA Today. And in USA Today, basically in a nutshell, they say it costs, a couple studies, the last couple of years, it's going to cost about $5 million to live the American dream. They've taken the 8 areas of life that everyone's saying that they want in their lives, and in those 8 areas, and you go through them here, it's going to cost $5 million to accomplish that American dream, North American dream. And I'm like, that's kind of scary, is it not? And I said, no, these numbers may not fit you. Tammy and I are going through this, and we're going, yep, that's one right. That was way off. We didn't spend that much. And then we get to the next one and go, oh my gosh, we spent way over that. We got cats. We got like $1 million cat, And so we went through this, and I said, so we're going to spend $5 million, and the average bachelor degree person makes $2.8 million, right? There is a gap of $2 million of people getting the dreams of the things we want to accomplish in our life. Now, maybe, depending on their age and stuff, maybe be where I'm at, like, we know it, we've been there, we've lived it. If I'm sitting down with a 20-year-old, like, it's coming, and it's going to get worse. And I'll say, here's my issue. I know inflation was a big part of it, and we saw the platform compare that. And we know interest and debt that we pay on all this stuff. And then taxes. We're getting hit with all this stuff. And you know what? I couldn't find a way to fill the gap. Is that something you want to look at? A way to fill that gap that, so we can live the North American dream and have our kids and our grandkids do it too? What are they going to say? Yes! And I'll say, well, here's what we found out. And I'll turn this over. And I'll say, this is what I was taught. I didn't know that my way out of this was something called wealth thinking. Here's what I was taught to do. I went to school, I got the good grades, I thought my North American dream, I became an employee and I started trading time for money. And I'm like, I did well. 20 years of climbing the corporate ladder, and I was getting a raise and promotion. All of a sudden, that'll level off. And I'm like, man, this is not way. And then they let me go because of something that happened with a sickness in my family. The cost of insurance went up for the company, and they blamed me. So they found a way to let me go. And I'm like, what am I going to do? And then I decided, you know what, I'm going to go from the employee down to the self-employed. I'm going to be my own boss. You ever thought about that, John? And John, Sue, probably, yeah, like we talk all the time. I said, I thought about that, so I started. I bought 40 homes in 3 years. I started two other companies. That's my answer. And I found out I was constantly trading time for money. That's all I did was trade time for money. And I'm like, I couldn't leverage nothing. It was all based on my ability to perform day in, day out. And by the way, I didn't understand I did not have wealth thinking. So when my businesses started to crash around me, there was a crash that happened, a financial crash, I didn't get it. So I lost everything. I don't know if you can relate to that. And then I get introduced to some guys, the Bradys and the Woodwards, and I heard them speaking, I'm like, they think differently than I've ever heard. They talk differently. Their language is different. Well, see, they had this thing called wealth thinking. See, they had found a way to get over to the other side of the quadrant where only 5% of people reside, but 95% of wealth is available. And I was over here chasing down the 5% of wealth with 95% of the people, not knowing that there was a way out. And when I get into this wealth thinking, I thought, man, this sure is changing things in life. And then I heard the analogy that really struck me about, man, Jeff, when I was working, and I'm thinking, if I have a job, and my job is to get buckets of water from point A to point B to serve a town or a community, and I would carry buckets, I'd work for somebody else, I'd carry buckets, and I'd get paid for every bucket I moved, right? And then I'd work long hours and move more buckets, and I'd carry 2-3 times, and then I decided, man, I'm so good at this. They made me a manager. They said, we'll just pay you a straight salary for helping buckets you move. But you work twice as long, Jeff, and have more headaches. And so I did that. I thought, that's my answer. And then I thought, no. What if I'm good at bucket carrying. What if I started my own company, started carrying buckets, and had other people, hired other people to carry buckets with me? That was self-employed. I was like, this is cool. Until other people that I was teaching to carry buckets started to build their own carry bucket companies. And I thought, man. So I was constantly trading time for money. And at the time, I meet Chris and Terry Gray and Warren Woodward, and they're younger than me, and they have, while I was carrying buckets, they were building a pipeline. And once that pipeline is finished, the Brady's and Woodwards just go over it, and they turn on the pump, and they turn on a nozzle. What flows to that town every day, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week? The water. Guess what happens to my business? I'm out of business. And I thought, I need to learn how to build pipelines. But I needed the wealth thinking to come with it. And I said, if I have a shot to get over this side, I want to do it. That's why I connected with these guys, because I wanted the wealth thinking, and I wanted to be in that 5% of the people. And I said, you know what? And then, so when I sit down with these guys, and they show me, hey, here's what we've got the answer. And the answer is the platform that you and I just used. Because think of, these guys have built this platform and invested millions of dollars into getting this in place for us. You and I don't have to invest in that at all. They have gotten all the partnerships with all those companies that they're on board. I mean, we don't have to worry about that. All those companies are on board. And you and I use this platform, and we're getting an instant return on our money we're already spending, which is genius, right? And so that's every transaction we make, we're getting a return on that transaction. Is that a no-brainer? They go, oh yeah, that's no-brainer. So, but the key is they've added all the wealth thinking on the platform. It's called the Royal Starfish. They've added all the wealth thinking on the top of that platform. So now, not only do we understand inflation by using it, we get to get this wealth thinking information, and the transactions that we make pay for the transformation of our thinking in our lives. That's genius! And I said, I thought, wait, this is a genius idea. Can I make any money at this? Well, Orrin and Chris said, we want to help take down this financial system. And the way to do it is one transaction at a time. So we're willing to pay a lot of money for you who help to take this out to the people, to help them change their lives and change the way they think and get those stay ahead of inflation. And they're going to pay us a lot of money to do that. And all we have to do is build a community of 1% wealth thinkers. John Nancy, would you like to be a part of that 1% wealth thinkers? Would you like to be on that B side? Would you like to close that gap with the $2 million we just talked about? Right? That's what we're going to do. We're going to build a community of people to make that happen. So, here's what we do next, John and Nancy. See this right here? Okay. So here's what we do. We're going to get you the Royal Starfish. And I'm going to send you the link right now. And it's $60 a month. Now, before you go any further on the $60 a month, the last thing Kenny and I needed was another subscription. I already had all these other ones like Amazon Prime and the Hulu and the Paramount Plus and the Netflix and this Spotify and this and the Apple stuff. The last thing I needed was some more money going out of my household. But dang it, I'm glad I listened to that wealth thinking information, because I'm like, that's not the way to think about that $60. Because that right there is giving me a return on my spending. I thought about that, and I'll pull my platform to show them. If I pull it right now, it's $95 back this month. From the money I was going to spend anyway. I'll say, so I love to have a, quote, investment of $60 a month that I know is going to return me, guaranteed, at least $75 to $150 every month no matter what. It's the only guarantee of any subscription I have that's going to give me a return that's a positive return. I said, so the last thing I wanted was on a subscription, but this one here was like, this one's going to be a beneficial one that got me more back. Make sense? So we'll get that where I started. But you know what? If you're like me, I wanted more than that. Because that program right there of wealth thinking and using this platform would put me on the 20 to 30 year plan to achieve the American dream. And I don't know about you, but if there was an option for a 2 to 5 year plan versus a 20 to 30 year plan, I'm all about it. I'm all about it. And so that is the business, that's right here, that's the B-type business owner. So guess what? So you're going to get the Royal Starfish, you're going to get all the transactions, you're going to get the transformation life, but now you have an opportunity that's going to get you over here to the B quadrant by us help take it to market and grow in this community of wealth takers. I'm willing to help you, John and Nancy. Let's you and I team up. I'm going to send you the link right now, and I'll pull out my phone, I'll pull it up, and it'll say Royal Starfish plus Life Accelerator. I'm going to send that right to their phone. I'm going to have them open it up. I'll say, why don't you share how easy this is? They open it up. I go, it's referred by, and if I'm working with somebody else, hey, it's referred by Joe and Susie and John and Nancy. Look, Joe and Susie get rewarded, you're getting rewarded. Who wins? All of us. Send a link, and I'm walking through the registration process right there. We get to the last page, and they may not be interested in, quote, understand, they may not be interested in the business side yet, because they don't understand it all yet, but I send them the full link, because when I go through it, this has happened like 5 times in the last week and a half. I sent it the whole link, and they go, and the member enrollment's already checked. And they go, what's that? I said, well, that's decided to get on the B business. They said, well, what's that going to take? I said, oh, no problem. That's just, you're going to get the Royal Starfish, and we're going to get you the wealth thinking information. By the way, we're going to give you $1 back for each audio you listen to for the first 30. So we're going to have that paid for after that. But for another $80 or another $80, you're now a business owner, and you're going to have access to another whole pile of information that's called the Life Accelerator that's going to take you fast. And you're going to have access to that. You know what they all said? Oh, just keep that clicked. They didn't want to click it because they wanted to be in the B-type business. So that's the process. So we made a list, we invited, we went and shared this plan. They're registered, they're signed up. Now the next step is you want to make sure you book that follow through. You want to make sure you book that follow through with people to get the process going. So we kept this message simple. It makes sense to them. They're like, I've got a way to close the gap of $2 million, and I can do it in 20 to 30 years, or I can do it 2 to 5. By the way, if they choose to not do the 2 to 5, they can just click that off over a period of time and say, I'll just do the 20 to 30. All of us know people that in 20 to 30 years of diagnosed information have got better results in their life. Do we not? Yeah. You heard some of the stories here this weekend, right? So we know that that happens right there. Now, does this work? Well, let me just give an example, because I love people say, well, Jeff, when you guys speak, what are you going to talk? I want to talk about something that just happened or is happening. Not something I did last year, 3 years. No, what's going on right now? Let me show you the power of this. Let me show you the power of this. I'm going to pull up a sheet here and sort of modify this a little bit. So, all right. So this is, you guys have all seen the back plate of the PowerPoint sheet, right? So I'm going to fold it over, and if you look at this right here, there's 15 spots, right? And then down the bottom, I put the roles and goals of a learner. Now, I've added in something here called race pace. You heard about race pace this weekend? Yes. Yeah. So, 15 spots. So, let me just tell you a quick story. This is a young lady sitting here tonight. She registered on the team on January 19th. Okay? She registered on the 19th. One of the top plan showers that knows how to show what I just showed you, went and shared the idea with this gal, signs up. She comes on the team. I was going up, it's about a 7-hour drive. They're from Tulsa, Oklahoma. I was going to Tulsa. And we said, let's schedule some meetings. It was the night before the wealth thinking thing that Owen and Chris were doing. The wealth thinking hour. On that Thursday night, we did a home meeting. That gal came in with a person, she had signed up. By the way, she is using her support team regularly. In other words, she's taken somebody who's already got results and said, come help me. I want to learn from what you're doing. Because why would I go through all the heck up stuff? But if you already know how to get results, I'm willing to follow. Okay, by the way, if you want to be a leader, well, the first thing you want to do is learn how to follow. If you want to be a great teacher, you better be a great student. This gal did. They signed up one person on the team. That night, that gal came to the meeting. The person she had signed up came to the meeting. There was a couple other people who were just above them came to the meeting. And the person she had signed up brought somebody. Well, that night, there was the start of an explosion in Tulsa, Oklahoma. So here's what happened. They said, okay, we got to go show 15 plans. January 19th, I would say they probably showed 10 to 12 plans in the first 12 days, from January 19th to January 31st. What happened? And by the way, in showing the plans, what were we doing? Teaching her the roles and goals of a learner. Right? Just signing them up is, if it's a sign-up game, we won't have a business. It's all about building communities, okay? And so, went through this process, plugged into the system events. This person, when I was there, came to every meeting I did that week. Open meeting, the home meeting, the Friday night wealth thinking hour. I think we did a training session maybe. That person never missed one thing, okay? They're learning how to show the plan. By going with somebody, start the process. They went out and did that, okay? They're building customers. And by the way, all their customers were Royal Starfish customers. Because they wanted the wealth thinking. Who would not want the wealth thinking? If I'm going to get it for free, why wouldn't you not want it? You want a 20 to 30, you want to be a shot at the North American dream? Then you need at least the wealth thinking. And our Royal Starfish Club has that, along with a way to get it so you don't have to pay for it. It's free. All right? Build customers, pre-qualifying prospects. Yeah, we're doing that because that's the process. All right? And then leverage the performer. So here's what happened. That person went race pace in their first 12 days and ended up making, listen to this, in the first month, think of it. I mean, our business cost a lot to get started, right? Yeah. $39, sorry. That person the first month, between their 30 audience listened to, the wealth thinking, and their instant return on their spending, the cash back from using the platform, and what that person made, they made more than they spent the first month. Okay? All right, now, I've been in a lot of businesses, starting a lot of businesses. I've never done that in my life. Broke even or made money in my first month. Doesn't happen. So what happened the second month? We come into February, here we're into February, what happened? Well, we continue on the plans here, continue on the roles and goals. So they're doing these things over and over again. You never stop learning. She went race pace. We did a couple of house meetings, are actually in the church, okay? I know she's going to start again because she's using the platform. She's got to return on her spending. And she's teaching her team how to do this, okay? We haven't done 150 PV, we haven't been around long enough yet. Club 180 Go-Getter. Yes, out of the gate, Club 180 Go-Getter. Each one reach one. She's got people in the event here. This is her first event. She came in after the seminar in January. First event, she's got people here at the event today. And she's qualified to start of 17. So what's happened in the month of February? Well, they've shown about 15 more plans. So they've shown about 25 plans. She went power player. She's wrapped up apprentice already this month. Not even the first 20 days she's wrapped up apprentice. She's a power player. She has people here. And they're rotating with the support team. They're rotating off the other people's list and going to start breaking race paces this month off her list of people already on board. And I'm looking at that, I'm like, wow. The person's going to make $200 or $300 in their first full month. Go power player, get apprentice, get in that race pace, doing the dash for cash this next month, because she'll qualify for that. And I'm like, all because they kept the message simple, spot on. It's like simple. You know inflation effect better, right? Yes. We find a way to stay in inflation, make some money too. Let's sit down, grab a cup of coffee. People say yes. And then we take people, we do it again. And then you just plug them into the system. You plug them into the Tuesday night opens to get around the community. Because remember, even when people get ready, here's what we said. By the way, she also booked Tammy and I for a plan for their aunt down in Texas. So Tammy and I go down, and it's at a donut shop. Have you ever heard Tammy say, "You are what you eat"? She goes, "I should be a donut." Well, this donut shop is, well, so this gal works there, her aunt. Well, not only, but her aunt now has pounded over 50 audios in less than 2 weeks. The husband came around. We showed some plans for her. The owner of the donut shop signed up. She's pounding audios, right? And I just got a text from them. They told me how many audios they've been listed, which is a crazy number. And they said, "Hey, we've already got some appointments for you on Thursday when you come back." That's at the bottom of this gal's field. You guys hear this? All of the simple messages. Well, let me tell you something happened this week. I want to tell you this. This is how simple it is. So when we showed the plan to the aunt, Tammy and I showed the plan at Starbucks. She doesn't know us, right? But credibility, personal credibility, professional credibility, with the opportunity, she connects us. She walks in. The minute we showed it to her, she goes, "This is a no-brainer. I want in. What do I have to do?" But her husband was not there. So she's waiting for her car's in the shop. She's waiting for her husband to come in and to pick her up. We said, "Well, just wait. I mean, I'm an hour and a half from home. Let's do it." And so we wait, and he comes in, and he's really standoffish. And we walked up. He doesn't drink coffee. He's not interested in drink. I said, "Come on." Boom. We did it. We showed him. We got a cup of tea or something for him. We showed him. You can see his wheels spinning, but he's very cautious. He's a melancholy phlegmatic. And he's very cautious. He said, "Yeah, this looks okay." But I'm into investing. So we got talking about it. But anyways, so we leave. But what did Tammy and I do? We got back with him. And we took the next step. We showed them the next thing. They flipped on their membership the next day. They didn't flip it on the first day. They flipped it on the next day. They became a Royal Starfish customer. They flipped on their membership the next day. 24 hours later, they come on board. And he goes, "I'm really into investing and stuff like that." And he's talking about all the stuff he does with investing. And so we go back. So we've been back 4 or 5 times in like 2 weeks. We go back to show a couple plans for the gal signed, the donut shop owner signed up. The next 2 plans weren't set up properly. It was totally messed up. They had no idea why. That's why the script. If you don't use a script, the script sets everything up for you. And if you use that script, everything it goes like clockwork. Well, the next 2 said no. And actually it was heck no. One was worse than that. Because she thought she was sitting there to see a friend she hadn't seen in a while, and that was it. Like, "Who are you?" Fortunately, that was Tammy, not me. It was great. That was somebody else. But they both said no. Well, the husband's there, and he doesn't see the yes, but he sees the two no's. Remember, he's still a little skeptical. But when we get done, he goes, I said, man, the gal, I said, look, you did awesome. We showed 3 people. One comes on board. She's the owner. She's a business owner. She's no dummy. She got it. The other 2, we talked about it. I said, I just want to let you know, the script is important. She goes, I know, I didn't use the script. I said, no problem, but we made it a big deal with this. The husband pipes up, says, you know what? I'm so proud of you because I try to talk to everybody about my investing. I go, well, how many people listening to you? He goes, none of them. And I said, and your wife, within something that's brand new, we show 3 and 1 comes on board. How are those odds? He goes, this thing's gonna go. Think about this. So we needed one more system for our friend from Tulsa to go power player. So I called them in Texas. I said, and we're calling her because she's a part of one. Her husband calls me. Oh, great, this is gonna be fun. And he's very laid back, like really laid back, like, hey, I got some questions for you. And his question was, I need to know how to show this plan. Oh. Because my wife, she's excited, but she don't know how to show it. And the boss, she don't know how to show it, but I need to learn this. And so we walked through a few things. I said, well, look, I'm going to show you how to do this when I come back Thursday. But in the meantime, you need some of the most world-class training. So when I come back, you're in the game that because after you come back this weekend, you're going to feel like you're not in the game with us. I said, you need to go in and flip on that marketing system. How do I do it? Click, 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 marketing system done. The guy, not the gal, but you understand, it's a process for people. But their team is growing. Let me wrap up with this. So if you want to do this, and then this month, why can't we help people go race pace the first month, get in position to start the second team, show 15 plans, kick off the second team the second month, race pace again, you break a power player and a brand new apprentice in the second full month. Why can't we do that all day long? We can. Because if you think about this, this is Houston. This is the freeways in Houston, like 27 lanes wide, right? And over here is the HOV lane, high altitude vehicle. Here's an on-ramp to the freeway. Our on-ramp to the freeway is a simple message that we just showed. It's a simple message. I can't get you, your dream is down here in the road, I gotta get you on the freeway. The quickest way is on the freeway. I'm gonna get you up on that on-ramp. Well, that's walking in, showing them this process, boom, and they're like, yes, who wouldn't do this? I got them on the freeway. Now that doesn't mean they're gonna move when they're on the freeway. I've got to plug them into the wealth thinking information, I got to get them using the platform, and I got to get them around the community. I do those 3 things, the more I do it, the faster we do it, the quicker this thing takes off, right? And the goal is, if you're riding somewhere like this young lady did, she hooked up with Radio Tia Campos, and they said, we're going to get on the freeway, and we're going to get it over the high oxygen vehicle lane, because that's the fast track. That's the 2 to 5 year plan, and I got to get over it as quick as I possibly can. And that on-ramp is very simple messaging. You get on this freeway and you start plugging in the audios, you get around the events, you get around the community, and then you get with your support team and you let them run this and help you go race pace on your way, on this freeway, HOV lane, all the way to your dreams. We are going to win big like we've never done before. This team, this organization, we are going to shock the world. It's going to be shock and awe for the next 6 to 9 months. God bless you guys. Woo!
Our nature is a powerful designer. When nutrients are in the right balance, we get a superfood. Eating fish is healthy. It is a well-known truth that higher levels of omega-3 support a healthy heart, an optimal brain function, and your immune system. How much do you need?
To know this, you have to measure the balance of omega-6 and omega-3, which you can do with the Zinzino test. We have tested several 100,000 people. Our statistics show that 99 out of 100 have too much omega-6 and too little omega-3.
Our DNA was programmed with a 1-to-1 balance. Today, the average is 25-to-1. According to the World Health Organization, a healthy balance for the heart should be less than 5 to 1, while science recommends 3 to 1. Balance oil is more effective than normal omega-3 supplements. Let us explain why. In most foods that are rich in omega-3, like seafood, seeds and nuts, we find them also to be rich in polyphenols. Polyphenols are micronutrients known for their power to reduce oxidation in your cells and cell membranes. Sadly, the omega-3 industry ignored this important truth. They left out the polyphenols. Zinzino respects and understands nature. We combine the highest quality omega-3 with the most potent source of polyphenols from a pre-harvested olive oil. When this works together, it creates a powerful synergy. For the final touch, we added the sunshine vitamin, the key for good immune health, vitamin D3. Add life to your years. There is no other product like Balance Oil. Test yourself and choose one of our Balance products. Balance Oil with great flavors, or Aqua X that mixes with water into a lemon drink.
I ordered some of that stuff, but I'm kind of loyal to
Awesome! Thank you, Jeff and Timmy, darling. That was awesome. Well, I'm excited to introduce this next lady. You know, when she saw this business, she was working 3 jobs. Not 1, not 2, but 3 jobs. She was busy. But she saw this as her way out. This was what she was looking for, those 3 jobs she could have with this. And immediately she immersed herself in our system of listening to audios, going to attending, associating, attending all the meetings, being there. And as a result, she was able to leverage this, and her and her husband have built a large community. And the wisdom that she's gleaned, you're going to be able to hear that when she speaks because of her immersion in this.
Absolutely. I just want to tell you, Kirk is awesome. Kirk Bertels is awesome. His background, he was a physical therapist, you know what I'm talking about. Something. And he's been a full-time entrepreneur for over 2 decades now. Over 2 decades. And you know why? Because he was introduced to this concept and he embraced well thinking and got serious about it and changed the way he thinks, and he's just such a great example of that. He's very valuable to this community. He's done so much behind the scenes to organize and create our marketing system. He's just done a ton, and he's very valuable to all of us, and we may not even realize that. So I'm so excited about what he's going to talk about. I saw his topic, and it's going to be so relevant. It's going to be so relevant to everybody, so take notes, pay attention, and y'all welcome up to this great stage, Mr. Kirk Bertels.
You guys get enough information in there? I know we got a lot of new people out here, and they say once your brain gets full, just let it leak out your ears. It's okay, right? I know you might be feeling like, man, how many talks you guys got? But who knows? They've been pretty excellent this weekend so far, right?
absolutely.
Fantastic. I mean, if you want to change your life, you came to the right spot, man. So endure. Get as much as you can, soak it in, so you come out of here armed and dangerous back to your own backyard. But I'm going to kind of dig into this. This is not going to be super detailed talk, but some principles. And the name of the talk is getting back to the basics. Right? It's time to get back to the basics. Who here has been in community building for a little bit? Raise your hand. Who in here is pretty new to this thing called community building, right? And we got a whole mixed bag here, but I think this talk will be helpful for everyone that's here in our new modern era, where we're trying to bridge the gap between high tech and high touch. Right? When we're trying to figure out when to use technology and when in person is needed, and kind of do that to build something and to build something that lasts, right? To build an asset, to build a B-type business, a community. Michael Jordan, the great basketball player, he said, get the basics down and everything you do will rise. As great Grandpa Alphonse says in Escanaba in the Moonlight, he's probably never been quoted, if you don't know where to start, go back to the beginning. Who in here's ever seen that movie? It's probably like 3 hunters out here, right? But we're going to talk about 3 big rock basics today. 3 fundamentals that I want everybody to really be mindful of. Otherwise, you could waste a lot of time. You could spin your wheels doing a lot of different things that add up to not much. So it's really important to keep the basics, keep those foundational pieces in place. So just drilling down, just kind of reading them off, and then we'll kind of get into some detail here. So the first one is backyard team approach depth. Build a dynasty where you live. Right? Build a dynasty where you live. You know, you heard Chris Brady, opening talk of the weekend, how much pride people screamed out where they're from, Missouri, and Michigan, and Utah, and Ohio. Well, man, what if we build a dynasty right where we live? The second big rock basic is build your open meeting. Build the culture, build the numbers. Build the culture, build the numbers. And obviously those 2 things go hand in hand. And the third one that I think is really needed at a lot of spots in our community is to go the extra mile. You know, to have that philosophy in your life that you're going to go the extra mile in everything that you do. Well, first, before we kind of drill down to this, there's who's ever heard of FOMO? Right? We talk about it a lot in this industry, the fear of missing out. And I was talking to Warren Woodward about this, and the leaders actually, they have it a little bit different. It's the fear of missing opportunity. They're not scared to get out there and swing and fail and try and get up and do it again because they're so fearful of missing out on opportunity, right? Missing out on opportunity. But amateurs, they have FOMO. You guys ever heard of FOMO? That's the fear of messing up. The fear of messing up. And I think that fear of messing up, you know, Raymond's talk was amazing. Raymond and Tina's talk, great job to you guys. Giving yourself permission this weekend to get out there and swing, to mess up a little bit, to try, to get back up and to do it again. Because if you don't try, if you don't get going, you're never going to get good. You know, Michael Jordan, coming back to the great basketball player, he said, I can accept failure. Everybody fails at something, but I can't accept not trying. Who in here wants to try more coming out of here? Who in here wants to do more coming out of here, right? Who in here wants to leverage more coming out of here? Absolutely. You know, we're running out of Sundays. I don't want to steal other people's talks, but man, we're running out of Sundays. You know, someday we're going to build this. We're running out of Sundays. This is our shot. That gap is widening, isn't it? Man, like as we speak, the gap is getting bigger. The percentage that are on the right track is becoming less, even as we speak right now. So we can't wait for those Sundays. We got to get out there and try. So let's drill down to some of these things, and I want to kind of set this up. So the big rock basic number 1. There's only 300 people. It was awesome. It was exciting. It was fun. And we had an after hours with the power players. And Steve Morgan asked Mr. Brady a great question. He said, Chris Brady, because you know Chris Brady built 9, 10 teams from scratch to way bigger than most of our teams, right? He's not just a CEO who looks good in a suit, right? He knows. He's like the hair club for men guy, right? He's also a member, right? He knows what we've been through. He's done it. And Steve Morgan said, Chris, if you went broke and you had to build communities all over again to get back where you're at, what would you do? And it was an interesting answer. He said, you know what I do? I probably would hardly ever leave greater Raleigh, North Carolina, which is where Chris and Terry live. I would start an open meeting, I would speak every single week, and I would show so many plans, I would get house plans going, I would feed everybody to that open meeting versus chasing squirrels all over the country. Now, who knows? Chris Brady knows a lot of people, a lot of different places, right? But he's like, man, I want to get it white hot right where I live. And man, that just resonated with me. I live in this great city, Grand Rapids, Michigan. 1 million+ people, one of the fastest growing cities in America. And I'm like, man, I can build this right in my backyard. Not that I don't have a team there, not that I don't have some wonderful people there, but a focus of getting white hot right where we live. To make it special, to make it something that will last forever. And there's 3 reasons why. And I want you to understand this, because here's why it hit me so hard. Because I realized, like, the last 15 levels in depth that I kind of had built, that half of them were like, one was from Montana, and one was from Tennessee, and you know what I'm talking about? And one was in Utah. And if you did, it's not a bad thing, but it's really hard. It's like, it's hard to get those pieces white hot. I can't be there with them. I can't have the relationship with them. So, building it locally, there's a lot of value. Man, who in here would love to build something big right where you live? There's a lot of value, and when you don't, there's a lot of deception. That you think you have more than you actually do. Like when you show up at your open meeting and you're like, well, I don't have many people here, but I got some people in other spots. No, you really don't. You know, you might have a few, but if you went to there, you'd be like, man, I don't got many people here either. And when you bounce around, you realize you don't got much anywhere. And we need to get it white hot right where you live. So here's the 3 reasons of why I believe, in my opinion, backyard team approach step. Build it locally. Build it where you're at. Now, listen, I'm not against if you have a distant spot and a hungry rascal somewhere. Of course, support and encourage that person. You know, foster that. Invest in that leader that's hungry at a distance. But how's it going where you live? At the same time, how's it going where you live? So the 3 reasons in my mind. Number 1 is model and message. Model and message. You know, you hear this term a lot in building communities. You want to model the right behaviors and you want to message the right behaviors. It's really hard through Zoom or just a weekend once in a while traveling to some spot to properly model and message the right behaviors. Right? To be with people present, they see you making a list. They see you doing the business lunch. They see you showing a few one-on-ones, doing a house plan. Do you know what I'm talking about? They see you promoting and feeding your local open meeting. It's really difficult if you just have stuff everywhere. But if you have it local, you can be right there with those people. You can have your new guy you're talking to. You can have an up-and-comer with you. And they're both seeing you modeling and messaging the right behaviors. Because I remember when I got started, Aaron Verdosa got me started, and he was modeling and messaging the right things. And once Aaron was kind of past me, right, like he was building depth and going house to house to house, I thought back like, well, I just started a second team. Like, well, what did Aaron do with me? Anybody ever have that question? And man, and thankfully Aaron did the right things. Because I started to duplicate what Aaron did with me in my second team. But it's hard to do that all the time through Zoom. Right? It's hard to do that just with a weekend every 8 weeks or whatever at a distant spot. It's not impossible, but it's difficult. The second main reason why backyard team approach depth is relationships. Relationships, man. I try to be all things to all people. You guys with me? You know, you try to be all things to all people. But boy, it's hard to get through that screen and be their buddy. Right? It's hard to have them open up to you about what's really going on. It's hard to read their body language sometimes. You don't have a chance to show a plan and afterwards you're having a coffee or catching a bite to eat and they open up about what's really going on in their life. But when you build it locally, man, you can do that. You can have several meetings and maybe even the same night and you're present with the people, and that's where those relationships are built. That's what leads to, at least in my opinion, that's what Aaron did with me. That's what builds to lifetime partnerships. You get the walls down a little bit, right? Hard to do that just a weekend here and there. And it's difficult to do that through just technology. And the third reason is you're able to feed your open. You're able to feed your open. Like, we have a Grand Rapids Open and we're proud of it. And we're going to take it to the next level, right? But man, if I'm showing plans in Sri Lanka and over here in Zoom Nation, Montana, and southern Utah, and all these different places, I'm like, how do I get those people? Oh, how far is your open? 16 hours. Okay, that's gonna be trouble. I'll be your open next week. I'll fire you up on Zoom, right? But when I'm right there and I go, hey, there's an open within 90 minutes of here, man, I can easily turn the guns when I'm doing a follow through, when I'm showing the plan, when I'm doing a house plan. I easily have this awesome meeting that we're focused on making white hot to feed people to, right? To make it something special. So building your backyard, modeling and messaging, building relationships, and feeding your open. You know, when you kind of get a new person started here, you know, and again, you might be that new person out here right now. This is your first meeting, right? Or you might be somebody that just kicked off on a second team and you're kind of getting some new people started, or maybe you're trying to drive depth on a taproot. Well, when you get a new person started, the first thing you're kind of thinking is, what does this person want? What is the life this person has always wanted, right? Connecting with that person and finding out what are the dreams of their heart, and partnering, coming to their side of the table and say, hey, I want to help you get what you want, right? And that directs your steps, because we have this thing called the 5-step pattern. It's not the most exciting thing in the world, but it's about the only thing I know that works. Where we make a list, right? We teach people how to contact off that list. We show some plans with and for people. We follow through with the people that are interested, and we rotate that with the newest person that's getting started. Those 5 steps. Well, if you just talk that stuff to people, they don't care. They get lost in the applesauce, right? It's kind of like gets boring to them. They're not real sure. But if you keep their dream out in front of them, and then you got to make something sticky. You know, so all of a sudden, if I'm working, say, with my friend Chad, who's here, and Chad has a daughter, and he's a brand new guy in depth, and this is his first major function. He's been to 2 opens. He just got on marketing system. He's super fired up, right? But I know Chad, that he wants to be financially free. He's got a daughter. She's a teenager. He doesn't have a lot of extra money to do a lot of extra things with that daughter. And he'd love to take her on some great vacations, help her out when she becomes that young adult. And man, if I can connect what Chad wants, what am I connecting to? Whoever's heard of this thing called race pace? Right? So when we get a new person started, man, we want to have, it's like, man, Chad, I want to help you to be able to financially do what you want to do with your daughter. Taking them on those vacations. She loves to go for rides and drives. It's like, wouldn't it be great to rent a motor coach and hit the national parks and do all these different things? So you know what, Chad? If you want to do that, we want to help you go race pace. We want to help you get off to a fast start so you're moving towards the life you've always wanted. There's something called race pace, right? Where we help you sign up for customers or members in that first 30 days or in a calendar month, and we get you off to a fast start. And it makes it sticky. Do you understand? If you just talk terms, it's boring to them. If you just talk dreams, it's fantasy. You got to connect the two together. Here's your dream, and here's what's important next. And that allows us, guys, as we do this 5-step pattern, it allows us to kind of get going. So local team approach depth. Jim Brunch said, your network will determine your net worth. When you help your new person make a names list, and I know there's different camps on this a little bit, but when you help your new person like make a names list, what are you getting? You're modeling and messaging. You're duplicating. Now why, if you spend not a lot of time, but just a little bit of time to jumpstart a new person's names list, okay? Why? Why is that an important thing? And you can do that pretty easy when you're local, right? One is you can help build it bigger and better. If they have a bigger and better names list than if they just were kind of randomly looking at their phone contact list once in a while, or the 3 people that are rattling around in their head, what does it do for them? Gives them more confidence, right? I mean, Nate Strachek did the Night Owl in Grand Rapids. He did an excellent job. And he's talking about that a little bit. He's like, because if you got 100 people on your names list and some quality people and one says no, it's not that big of a deal. But if you're thinking about 5 people in your head randomly and one says no, you're 20% out of business, right? So it helps to build confidence. The second reason, it helps to keep it local. If you just leave it to the new person, they're going to be like, well, I got a cousin in Utah. I got a sister in New Mexico. I got a business card from somebody in Colorado. Do you know anybody in Southwest Wyoming? But when you build the names list with them, you say, hey man, that's awesome, that's great, but how about we start where we live? We might be able to reach all those different people, but we don't want to go zoom in here and zoom in there and zoom in there because it's hard to get it white hot. Let's make sure that we build a local names list. Who do you know this? Who do you know that? Who do you know this? Right? And you can kind of focus it. You can kind of curate that names list to keep it local. The third reason is because you can control the influence level. Do you understand? Who in here has ever built a team and if you just leave it to the new person, no offense new people, but we just know human nature. I was the same way, right? We tend to get in this and then we tend to contact people we have influence over, right? And so we're always kind of contacting down a little bit because it's less scary. Well, a principle I learned from Warren Woodward and Chris Brady is get your best in front of the best. Well, do you think that new person's ever going to get the best in front of you if you don't kind of direct them? If you don't kind of lead them through that list? So when you make a names list, maybe you're the one that's doing the writing a little bit. Maybe not for hundreds, you don't spend millions of years, but just jumpstart it. 25, 50 people. When you're doing it, hey, who do you know within an hour of where you live? Right? Maybe the old meeting you know is 20 minutes away. Who do you know within an hour of here? Okay, there's Bob. What's Bob do for a living? Right? Oh man, he's my chiropractor. Awesome. Put a little star next to Bob. You know, he's professional, he's ambitious. Who else do you know? I know Tim. What's Tim do? Well, he sleeps on couches. He hasn't had a job in 6 years, this and that, right? And just realize, and maybe you don't cross Tim off, but you realize if you leave it to your new guy, he's probably going to call Tim first. You know what I'm talking about? And all of a sudden you're going down this trail of low influence, and it's hard to build a business that way. But if you can curate the list, you can keep the influence level up, and it'll go a long way. Let's talk about contacting locally. Contacting is kind of like dribbling in basketball. You know, I really noticed this, guys. If you don't get good at it, right? Because there's one thing to get started, keep it simple. And you always want to have a simple mindset. But if you don't get good at it, you're probably never really going to get good at building a community. So at some point, you got to lean into it just a little bit. So 3 tips with contacting that you can really help to lead when you're local. So 1 is use the script. Use the script. Always underneath members to get started, you'll find that contacting script. Number 2, small business launches with your new people. Getting face-to-face, not just big Zoom things, right, with everybody on from everywhere, right, but get together with your newest people face-to-face and help them list and contact. You know, help them list and contact and move that forward. And then number 3 for contacting is practice, practice, practice. You know, it's kind of old school, it seems like a little bit. But if we always keep it so just absolutely simple, 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 nobody ever gets really good at anything. Do you understand? And like we have a whole bunch of nobody that's duplicating into something bigger. So it's okay to do a little, lean into those tough spots a little bit. Practice the script with them. The people I see that get good at this, they practice it out loud. They take a little time with maybe a business partner or maybe their coach or their spouse and ring, ring. Hello, right? And go through it. Because if you ever watch somebody contact that hasn't done that, boy, it's special. You know, you could sit there at the table with somebody and there's the contacting script and say, Bob, you see the script? Yeah, I see the script. Kirk, do you see the script? Yeah, I see the script. I'm like, all right, well, let's make some phone calls. They get on the phone, they look at the script, they're like, well, there's this deal. It's like a sea urchin, you know, you pay with stuff and you kind of get people in. It's really awesome. It's an awesome opportunity. They say every networking buzzword on the planet Earth, right? And you're like, yeah. But if you practice a little bit, right, and you get up to speed, man, it's amazing how it can flow and how it can go. And you know what? If you help somebody, just like in basketball, I know Jonathan's a basketball player. It's like, I know in basketball, like if somebody gets good at dribbling, the world is their oyster. They can do way more things on that basketball court, right? But if they never get good at dribbling, they're so limited. There's only so many Dennis Rodmans in the world that can get rebounds without being a good dribbler, right? But otherwise, they're so limited. So man, it's okay to lean into that a little bit and help it go a little bit. John Wooden said, the 8 laws of learning are explanation, demonstration, practice, 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 and practice. Let's do a little bit of practice. Not that hard. If it's the constriction point in the funnel for a lot of people, making some phone calls. Who in here's had a little fear of making phone calls? Who's made a few phone calls and you're like, you felt like you were so bad that maybe it shied you away from doing it again? Now you got to do it again to get good. But man, what if we just focused a little bit and got good at that? What if we got good at that? Sometimes it takes a leader helping to be a cheerleader, to be an encourager, to lead somebody through. And imagine if you got somebody started and you got them started right. And now you're 10 levels in depth underneath them. What's that guy going to remember when he starts his second team? He's going to remember that. Oh, what did Kirk do with me? He made a quick names list. He practiced the script. These are things that work, right? Not everybody can be the magic person. Hey man, just show up because I say you're going to show up. It doesn't always work that way. We got to duplicate those principles. You know, some great resources from this. Militello's did an awesome audio, Onboarding to a Million, that really covers the principles of that content to keep it simple and to keep it real. But practicing it makes you really good at it, right? You know, make sure you get that script. And let's talk about showing the plan. You know, the mindset when you're building local team approach depth, ladies and gentlemen, and I see this a little bit, like we want to keep it as simple as possible, but we can't be scared of doing what it takes to build a real community, right? And so when you show a plan, Chris Brady and Warren Woodward talked for a long time that, man, maybe, hey, I'm going to partner with, say it's Brian. Brian's new and he's where I live, and man, I'm booking a meeting from a meeting. Me and Brian are getting back together. He's hot, he's hungry about this. And I want to show at least 2 house plans for Brian. And I'd like to show at least 2 one-on-ones for Brian. Why? Because I'm modeling and messaging. He's seeing the person, the performer, you, or the leader, you, that knows the most, and he's watching what you do, right? And he's able to start to duplicate that over time. And that's such an important thing for moving forward. And as the leader, if you're local, it's where you live. Man, it's hard to do that online. I'm not trying to get into people's beeswax here if you're doing a lot of Zoom stuff. You know what I'm saying? And if you don't have something where you're practicing that craft locally, in person, going house to house to house, it gets rusty. Right? It gets rusty. And when you're doing it yourself, man, what do you have the power of doing as a leader? You have the power of booking follow-throughs. Your new guy sees you, maybe the guy that right along is with you, he gets to see it too. It's the power of promoting the open meeting properly and edifying the speaker. Your new guy gets to see that, the prospect gets to see that, maybe you had somebody right along with you gets to see it, right? And it creates the duplication as you get past that. And so there's some great resources for showing the plan. You got the new one-on-one sheet. Didn't Jeff and Tammy do an awesome job with that? Man, make sure you get that new sheet. I'm telling you, it brings together all the worlds in a very simple, elegant way that's not scary, it's not ominous, it feels good. People recognize right away there's a gap, and somehow you're offering something that I need, right? And we can help them move forward with that. Get the one-on-one sheet. You know, the checkpoint race audio. If you're on marketing system out of here, man, that's an audio you should be listened to again and again and again and again. There's another audio called Flight Instruments. Get that audio and listen to it. It's so good as far as leading right from the front where you're at. And the great book, How I Raised Myself from Failure to Success in Selling, is like showing the plan 101. Following through. I don't have a lot for this one, other than book it soon, and book it solid. If you're showing this plan and somebody has interest, if they don't have interest, what do you do, right? But book it soon. If they don't have interest, sign them up as a customer. You should be able to switch gears, show that little video, sign them up as a customer. But if they have interest, book it soon, and book it solid. Stay persistent in depth. You know, again, why are we doing these? The 3 Y's of backyard team approach depth. Messaging and modeling, relationships, and feed your opening. The number one to me still is messaging and modeling, guys. The most important. It's kind of like the Karate Kid. You guys ever seen the Karate Kid movie? You know, what did he start off? He's like, I want to learn karate. And he said, okay, I want you to sand the floor. I want you to paint the fence. I want you to wax the car. He showed him how it was done, and he got to those basics. And we want to do the same thing. As a leader, messaging and modeling, well, let's just check ourselves. Are we messaging and modeling the right things? Are they the things we want to duplicate? If this person we're working with, we're not just trying to get names from them, are we? We're not just trying to build, just get a few people from them, are we? We want to get past them, and then they're duplicating on a second team. So as a leader, let's make sure, are we messaging and modeling the right thing? A new member, if you're a new person here, man, you might be fired up. Maybe you weren't before this weekend. Well, grab a hold of your performer leader. Let them know you're hungry. Let them know you want to win. You want to succeed at this. And man, watch your performer, watch your leader work with you. Between their performance and demonstration, as Larry Van Buskirk says, and plugging into our system, you'll learn the right practices. Well, Kirk, what if I'm not the leader and I'm not the new person, but I still want to win at this, but my leader's way past me? Hey, nicely asked. Hey, do you mind if I ride along? Would it be okay if I come with you to a follow-through? Would it be all right if I ride along to that house plan? And watch, have your ears and eyes open, forget your old junk, and watch your leader work, right? Watch your leader work and good things will come together. So, with that being said, I'm gonna dig into big rock number 2 here, which is building your local open. This is a pretty simple thing, guys. You know, all that stuff, if you don't do the first one, big rock basic number 1, there is not gonna be big rock basic number 2, right? But building your open. You know, I've been in this community building for a while now, and I don't want to do anything in my life that doesn't last, that's not real, that doesn't make a difference. I just don't. I have no interest in it whatsoever. And so when I look at my great city, and I look at our great open meeting that we're working on making greater, man, I want that thing to be electric, to be popping, to have an awesome culture, to have a ton of new people where everybody's on their A game. And you can just see if you have a bunch of leaders and performers out there building local team approach depth and feeding that open meeting, ushering your new person in, how can we lose? We can't lose, man. Everybody's looking for a better mousetrap. But let's make sure we use the mousetrap we got right now and be the best at it. You know, they say that your open meeting is your local open meeting. Your home open meeting is your number 1 asset. And if you're not happy with that when you show up there and you look around and you're like, well, it's not as filled as I want, or I don't have that much of my team here, we need to remedy that. Your team at your local open meeting is your number 1 asset in building this community, and it's the gateway to everything else, as Colby says. It's the gateway to everything else. So with that being said, I'm going to bring my wife up here. I left her a little bit short on time, but I know she's got some great things to share about building relationships and building this open meeting. Oh, here she comes really fast. There she is. So here's my wife, Kirsten Brooks.
Thank you, Bob. No, I love what Kirk was sharing, you guys. It is so awesome this whole weekend and what we have our hands on, and just thinking about our open meetings and how amazing. I mean, it is just the first step into this community that someone is coming into, and it's just so much fun having them there. And there's some big keys I want to go through about relationships, building relationships that build our open meeting. And that is so much fun if you're a relationship person. And if I just said that and you're like, yes, I love building relationships, you can do it. But if you are like a little like, oh, I can't believe she just said that, you can still do it, because we have a total system for success. And the first step for that is getting the top 5 books. Do you have the top 5 books? And start reading them and using them to build these relationships. Because the stronger that gets in you, the stronger these opens become, the stronger your business, the stronger your community. And it's just such a wonderful combination. Relationships are more important than life, but it's important for those relationships to have life in them. So we're going to talk about some principles to put life into your relationships, but it's not just technique. There's such a heart that has to come into building relationships. And the first, I know you're feeling it already. Are you not? I mean, come on, are you not feeling the heartbeat of this community? Are you watching the speakers who have already been on stage? What it has done in their families and in their lives? That's the heart. And then again, come tomorrow morning, and you're going to see the heart and the foundation of this community. And you have that heart as you learn these principles to build these relationships, to build your team in your open meetings. And I just want to talk quickly about the 3A principle. And this is from one of our top 5 books, How to Have Confidence and Power in Dealing with People by Les Giblin. And he talks about the 3A principle, which I think it's good for all of us, if we've never heard it, to learn. And if we have heard it, we need to be reminded of these things. So the first one is accept. Acceptance is a vitamin. We want to be accepted as we are, and we want someone to be around someone that we can be ourselves. Doesn't it feel good when you're around someone and you just feel like you can be yourself? Right? I remember getting started with this, and Mary Radosa, man, that girl loved me as I was unsure. I was insecure. I didn't know if I could build this business. I didn't know if I was going to even. And she just loved me where I was at. And she showed me a picture of who I could become. And you know what happened? That gave me strength and courage to want to grow into that woman who wanted to grow, who trusted her, who wanted to be involved with this community. She accepted me exactly where I was at. And that builds so much trust, and that is absolutely needed. The second A is approve. Now this goes a little beyond accepting, because you have to find something you really like about that person, and that is food for your soul. And I feel that to my core. Do you not feel that even this weekend when someone points out something good in you? I distinctly remember times Lindsay or Lori or Terry have picked out something good about me, and I want to live up to that. I want to become that person. I want to know that I can keep on growing, and I love the approval. Dale Carnegie teaches in his iconic book, How to Win Friends and Influence People, which is also a top 5, don't ever forget that every person you meet has that sign right hanging around their neck that says, please make me feel important. Don't ever forget, every single person, no matter where they are in life, how successful you think they are, please make me feel important, because we all have that need as human beings to feel important. And you know what? We can easily do that. It's a story that Terry Brady tells when she was walking on the street one day with her mom, and she walks by a lady that she thought was pretty, and she whispers to her mom, man, that lady was so pretty. And what does her mom do? She marches her around. They go up to that lady and says, now tell her. And Terry's like, oh, I think you're really pretty. I think she was a teenager, which is really awkward. And she tells the lady that she thinks she's pretty, because everyone needs to feel appreciated. And what a great lesson for a young girl to learn, to show that appreciation. Absolutely. Oh, and that's the third A, appreciation. That's the magic, because when you appreciate, you raise in value. You show people how they can have more value. So let's add value to people's lives. Like, I sincerely appreciate you guys being here. I know you had to overcome some obstacles. I know you had to do things that are maybe uncomfortable. I love that you're taking enough of a chance on you and your future to do something different. I appreciate that. It is absolutely amazing. And I remember my daughter Kaya, when she was young, we were in a clothing store, and the sales lady was amazing, and she was telling us about her favorite coffee. So we went out and bought her favorite coffee and brought it back. You would have thought she won the lotto by giving her her favorite coffee, because we were showing appreciation. And man, that just builds such bonds, you guys. So to create the culture, to use these 3A principles with the right heart. Now there's just 3 quick points I want to make about that, because you're using these 3 A's. The first one, at the open meeting, show up. Show up for all the Tuesdays, right? Chris Brady did an audio, show up for all the nights. Yes, I'm talking about your Tuesday night meetings, no matter what. Show up. Lindsay threw out a great challenge in her audio, the what, why, and how of the open meetings. Make it a priority, because this is your business. You are now a business professional. Put it in your calendar, no matter what, even if you get in a fight with your spouse, even if you have some issues with your kids, even if you don't feel like it, even if you had a bad day at work, even if you're feeling a little negative, show up. You just have to be there, because you don't know who's going to be walking in that door that needs to see your face, your smile, hear your story, relate with what you've gone through, because now you get to pour into someone else. Show up. And as you show up, be a professional. Just rise it up a notch, right? Dress a little bit more professional. Make sure you're all in order. Leave the negative at the door. Everyone can be negative. It doesn't take anything special to find the negative, the dark side in anything, but it does take some skill to be positive. to leave that at the door, right? To walk in, to have a good attitude, to welcome someone. And you know what? It's a great thing. You don't have to be the gal sitting at the table to greet someone and bring them up and smile and welcome them. You don't have to be the speaker or the leader to really encourage the new person walking in, because people, you know, it's a little bit different walking into open meeting. People, you're not really sure. You don't know any of these people. But man, you go there, you shake someone's hand, you look them in the eye, and you tell them, I'm so glad you're here. Man, you're going to have a great time.
King of the super fruits. In fact, muscadine grapes have the most polyphenols and antioxidants of any grape or berry. These health benefits have been bottled into a daily blend and are better known as the Mighty Muscadine Grape Supplement. Each capsule is made from exclusively sourced premium muscadine grape seeds and skins. They contain concentrated, 100% naturally occurring phenolic compounds, better known as antioxidants. This rich source of micronutrients naturally found in plant-based foods can support a healthy immune system, boost your cardiovascular health, can reduce oxidative stress, revitalize your energy levels, increase blood flow, improve brain function, promote good joint health, can fight inflammation, and many more. Begin a healthier lifestyle today.
Man, was that amazing or what? Man, I tell you what, our speakers have been on point today. Man, talk about fired up. We were having who in here is having a great time? Woo! But man, there is still more to come, and we have the distinct pleasure and honor to bring up this next couple, so I'm going to have Lindsay bring up the lady.
Oh man, wow. I don't even really know where to start to bring up this lady, but I have enjoyed more than ever having the honor and privilege to learn from her for several years now, and it's utterly amazing to just be able to take her wisdom and apply it to our lives. I've learned from her on how to be a better wife, how to be a better mom, how to be a better leader. She is an amazing teacher. She has such a gift at getting the point across and to reach our hearts, to help us all feel how this can truly have such an impact on all of our lives. And it's such a pleasure that I get to bring up this leading lady tonight.
Yes, absolutely. And the gentleman, man, I'll tell you what, the list of accolades just continues to roll and roll and roll. With the 4 patents, the benchmarking awards, the top 50, actually the number 20 in the top 50 leadership and management experts in the world, according to Inc. magazine. But I'll tell you what, these guys are way more than that. Number one, they lead their family, but also they are leading this whole group of rascals here that want to go out there and change the world and change this country and do something bigger and better than what we've seen so far. So get to your feet and help me welcome to the stage, Miss Lori Woodward!
I'm blown away by every single talk that was given. How about you guys? Yeah. You have lots of notes? Are you ready to go? Oh my gosh. Do you have the belief? Woo! Do you have the hope? So it has been a lot, so I want to laugh for a little bit. You guys want to laugh? Anybody want to laugh? You're going to laugh at me, okay? Because I do some really silly things. You guys have heard me falling off my bike several times. And there's just something about me in falling. I can't explain it. But anyway, I'm going to start this with a video. It's okay if you laugh. It really is okay. I'm good. I will probably be laughing so hard because I laugh every single time I see it, and I watched it a lot. But let me preface this whole thing. So, you know, we have 4 kids, and I still like to take my kids out like my one-on-one time. Because I know they're older, they're adults, and it's really hard to do because they have lives of their own, and, you know, like, do you want to hang out with your mom? And, you know, they're gracious, and sometimes they'll be like, yeah, I so want to do that. But Jeremiah was visiting us this past summer in Michigan, and we like to go on these little nature walks and whatever, so we were at this park called Former. And we were looking at all the different birds and stuff. I'm kind of a birdy, geeky bird lady. And what it is, I turned into my mom, which is a good thing. So anyway, so we're looking at all these things in nature and all the water and all this stuff. And then I'm going to let the video happen. But our goal was not to make it to the end of this tree, okay, this log. It was just to kind of see if that we could go like halfway and make sure that the thing wasn't going to break off the tree. You'll see what I mean. So if you guys can play that long version of the video, it's not really that long, don't worry. That's Jeremiah. So see how it's still connected to the tree? We just want to see if we can.
Saying, I think it's stable.
Alright, I don't want to go any further than this, but.
Here's the practice.
So we show you how to do it.
What?
So we show you how to do it.
Well, I just didn't want to go any further just in case.
Show you how.
Alright, we haven't showed up, guys. Round 2. Please don't fall. Oh!
Show you how it works. No. That is the best part. He goes running. Hope you don't fall. Boom.
Yeah, just do the short version.
The short version is just her.
Oh!
Whoa! Mom, are you okay? Okay. Lesson number 1. You want to get from point A to point B, you have to start. So, what I did right was I started. Right? I started. And it takes courage to do something new. And, you know, so if you're new here, I am so proud of you for being here. Right? I hope that this is all your way. Okay? Okay, lesson 2. Learn the process that works. Okay? Really, my process might have looked pretty, but it didn't work. But be a humble, hungry learner. I love the quote in LLR, and it says, "This is one of the greatest secrets of becoming a great leader. Never stop becoming." Isn't that great? Never stop becoming. We should always be in growth mode. And you've heard all the great talks talking about, you know, well thinking and learning that well thinking and plugging into a system and just being in a constant state of growth. And that's what we have to be. So I have this. This is what part of my Bible reading. Every morning I read this quote because I really want this, but it applies to our business as well. It says, "Ask the Lord to give you a fresh sense of wonder as you read His Word." Because sometimes you can read and just put check marks in the box. "Pray for understanding and for an open, humble, obedient heart to receive what He wants to say to you." And so if you've been around for a little bit and you're like, "Why do they keep talking about those top 5 books? I don't want to read the top 5 books. Those marriage books, I don't want to read that." Man, if I could just encourage you to please reread the top 5 books over and over. We are still to this day reading the top 5 books. Orrin and I are still reading them. So I just pray that, you know, ask to get a fresh sense of wonder of those amazing books. Because here's the thing, as you're reading through, every time you read through, you should be a new person. Your level of leadership should have grown. And so you're going to see things in there, you're like, what? I didn't read that in there the first time. Somebody snuck this in. But you know what? Your brain just was open and ready to learn. Okay, So as you move to the performer level, lesson 3 would be do the process. So first you learned it, now do the process that works. Don't get fancy. Don't get fancy with those footsteps. So many people have their own ideas. And really, that technically wasn't my idea to do this swooping thing. It's what I learned in gymnastics when I was a little kid. Did anybody learn how to do that? Thank you, I'm not crazy. 1, 2, 3, some people. The balance game, yeah. So, right, okay, well anyway. Oh my goodness. So, do the process that works. Now remember, pride comes before the fall. So, let me show you how to do it. Okay, what I did wrong is I didn't follow the tried and true method that Jeremy just showed me, right? He was very successful at getting to the halfway point, bouncing out, hearing a creak, and saying, oh, time to exit the log, or the tree. And so at this performer level, many errors are made, and sadly, too many people stop and quit. They stop and quit, or they get stuck at that level because they don't PDCA. They never progress through the process onto that leader level. And the biggest error is not enough action. The biggest error is you cannot learn to ride a bike until you get on the bike. So if you are going to learn this business, you have to get out in the road and kind of show, well, you've clearly showed me what to do. And Christine talked about this, do what your moving on upline is doing. They're modeling, if they're modeling the right behavior, follow that behavior and do it, it works. And so notice what I did wrong. I thought, I'm older, I've walked on logs before, I've done the balancing beam. So, I didn't listen to Jeremiah. Now he does have bigger feet, well maybe not quite that big, but they're bigger. And so I don't know how that would have, he probably could have made it to the other side in 3 steps if he went that way. So he went this way, and I don't know why I didn't do that. So why don't we follow the tried and true method? Why don't we do the things that work? Why do we feel like we need to change things? The things we need to change is get well thinking. Get rid of the old thinking, get well thinking. That's the change. So again, pride comes before the fall. And the lesson repeated till lesson learned, right? I love that quote. Lesson repeated till lesson learned. Why can't I seem to learn lessons the first time? Why do I have to repeat them over? Why do I keep following? Why do I just like the ground? I don't know. All right. Let's just watch that video. Wait, just one more time. The short video. Just the short video.
Oh.
I'm sorry. It's like I jumped and, I fell to the left. Where the ground was, significantly lower than on the right side. And here's the funny thing. So Jeremy, you saw when he jumped off and the ground was right there. Just right there. There was no fall off, whatever. Why did I pick the left? Hey, here's a thought. That looks pretty much like there's no bottom. Let's fall to the left. And when I fell, I'm laughing. I'm falling and laughing. I'm like, oh, this is just great. And there's like a stick poking up here and a stick poking. I don't know how I did not get impaled. But thank the Lord, thank you. I did not. Yes. So, but here's lesson 4A. Okay, if you're gonna walk on a log, don't wear a purse. Like, what did I think? Jeremy was gonna steal something, or the bears? What was I thinking? Why did I have that on? Oh my goodness, I do, just whatever, doesn't make sense. So lesson number 5 is this, and this is a big one, you guys. Failure is not final. Now, while I did not get back on that log, thankfully, every time I fell or messed up in this business, I got right back up and I did it again. Every single, you know what, Gordon and I, where we are? We've messed up a lot more than you guys. That's it. We failed more times than you guys. And here's my thing, who cares? Who cares if I fall? Who cares? Put your big girl pants, put your big boy pants on and get out there and do it again. I want you to live the life you've always wanted. I want you to live the life of your dreams. It's going to require you to have courage and the ability to get back up. And who cares what people say? Who cares what people think? You know know who you are. I hope you know whose you are. And if you're not sure of that, again, come tomorrow and hear Chris Brady. That will give you the solid foundation. Okay, here's another little side story. It's a little silly story, and I hope I didn't tell it last time. I really can't remember what happened last time. I was a little feverish, but so Lauren and I were coming back from Norway, and we were in the airport. And I'm sorry, I'm so immature. I don't know why this makes me laugh. But we were at the airport, and we were walking, and there was this lady, she was a little older lady, in front of us. I don't know what she ate that day, but probably beans. But so she was walking, and then some noise came out, and it was so strong and loud that she actually catapulted forward to the somersault to the I don't even know, it was like a side somersault, and she ended up facing the whole crowd that was coming at her. Like, that's embarrassing, right? Like, you're like, oh, and I am so immature, I'm like, keep walking, just keep walking. Oh my gosh. Anyway, the lesson number 6 is, be careful who you're following. It just might be somebody. But you know what? She got back up. I mean, I don't know what choice she had, but she got back up, and she was like, I'm so sorry. It's gonna happen to me now, you guys. You know it. You know. Doesn't matter. Okay. Lesson 7. I am responsible. So when I fell, I didn't jump up and start blaming the log. You stupid log! Why did you make me fall? And I certainly didn't blame Jeremiah. You know, I mean, I will say I really thought my purse played a part in it. I'm not gonna lie, but no, honestly, I did take responsibility, obviously. And just like when we fail in this business, I hope you don't jump up and go, oh, my God, you know, it's your fault, or to the people no! Be responsible. It's your business. Take responsibility. I love that I'm responsible.
Unbelievable. No company in this space has ever done what we have just done and launched to you this weekend. Woo! If you are brand new, talk about timing. Brilliant. Brilliant. But we have people in the room that, well, I was there 15 years ago, or 10 years ago, or 20 years ago. And you know what the most important thing that group has to do? I'm dating myself here because this is so old, Raymond might not even know what it is, because he's a computer guy. But Raymond, do you remember those Etch-a-Sketches? Some of the younger people, I got nothing. The older people know what I'm talking about. You start drawing something, you twist this way, you got a horizontal axis and a vertical, and you move it around, and then you're like, dang it, I messed it up! Fade O'Hare! Good to go! Round 2. Talk about PDCA right there. That's a good analogy for a PDCA. I messed it up. No, I didn't. Starting over. Do you know what some of the old guard has to do? Etch-a-sketch it! Shake that sucker! Clean the table! And look at this business for what it is today. Buying products you're buying every day anyway at a discount to build up a fund to fund the transformations of not only you, but every single person in your community that you build. That is a model that will go to millions of people. That is a model that will spread around the globe as we spread around the globe. And so, it's your lens that has to change. For the last 3 years, Brady's and Woodward's have put in extra time, extra money, extra effort, because we didn't start this thing to end it. We started this thing to finish it. What do I mean by that? As Shane was up here sharing last night, we are setting the people free. We are going to create a revolution, a peaceful revolution.
Peaceful.
We are protesting on the street, we're fighting, we're not violence. We're just saying we're not participating in that anymore. And since you chose to get us to participate in this debt system, and you promised us the dream if we did so, and now you're still giving us all the debt but none of the dream. And so what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and refuse your debt and use the inflation fighter aspect, the transactions. And then we're going to take that money and we're going to get the wealth thinking so we no longer need your debt. And by the way, we are going to live our dreams.